in mind.
So we're here at the 2021 Concours de Limos, Michigan, here at the interstate jogging. And well, this is due to the weather, the golf course is just a soggy mess. So we've had to move out here to the tarmac parking lot behind the hotel next to the dumpsters, which is kind of where we deserve to be. So we've been judging, and there are bribes, which are encouraged here at Concours. And cheers! The trick is not to take too many bribes, because after about the fourth or fifth one, those are the best. It's a half a can.
And it's still the morning on the East Coast time.
That's terrible.
I'm still on Pacific time.
Wait,
that's even worse.
This is the finest bourbon that Wisconsin has to offer. Good old Henry J. Oh wow.
Not a trace of cheese.
No, they just spent 3 times. But bribes do go a long way here, especially when you bring a car like this.
So what did we judge today? You and I, we had the GM class,
we had GM class, and we had worst of show. Which, in a show like this, boy, that can be the debates rage. And you know, you pick a you pick a great car.
Yeah.
What's your price here?
Well, it's interesting because there are some of these that are here that are made to be the worst of the absolute worst. But then there's stuff that we saw that's really rare. Like there's some cars that just didn't survive because most of them rusted away to nothing. But they're really unique from their time. Stuff from the 80s and early 90s, right? So it's fun. Get a little bit of everything here. And there's some clubs that have historically used this as a platform to practically have a national event. That's what I did.
The Cosworth Vega Club has shown up in force at this event before and taken home the Cosworthless award.
And a lot of Corvairs we've seen here, right?
The Corvair Club shows up in force every year, and this year they brought a ringer. They brought Ralph Nader's Corvair. Ralph Nader actually did own a Corvair for his museum and sold it to one of the members here, and they brought it for me to drive, and I don't know if that was a compliment or a punishment.
They might be trying to kill you.
They might be trying to tell me something, I'm not sure. So, but it's been a great day. The weather has held so far, but the cars that show up are just staggeringly good and staggeringly bad.
So talk a little bit about, because some of the cars, they're in the middle of a rally. Like they're here, but they're going somewhere else, right?
There is a Lemons rally that is going on at the same time, and this is one of their rally stops. The idea is to spend 3 days in a car that is horribly suited to the task, driving hither and yon on a wild goose chase for points at checkpoints like the rally. One of the checkpoints was to get a selfie with me. Another one was to serve hors d'oeuvres on the hood of your car, which we've had nothing but the finest gas station hors d'oeuvres. You can imagine why I need some of this to kill some of the biotics going on in my gut right now.
We haven't yet had in the soul-sucking Japanese science class. I had a full plate of sushi from anyone at one of these events. So there's some semblance they like to do.
Gas station sushi at its finest would be, the best thing you could hope for here.
So perhaps next year, at next year's event, everybody knows how to sway Mr. Brad Phillips's vote. Some crap.
Hairy arm of one of the attendees. That would really fill it. That's always really hard for me.
The only weird thing I ever did was I'll tell you mine. There's a smart car down there that's done up like a tiny Tykes car.
Like the ones we drove as kids.
They have a little tiny Tykes car on the back of it, and it's done up exactly the same. It's spectacular.
Well, what's always fun with these things is when we want to walk the line and look at some of the cars.
Let's walk the line. Let's do it. Everybody wants to see the cars. They're asking for the cars.
Cop brakes.
From New Mexico, I believe.
It's like a state police plate. That's a nice eBay find there. One thing I've noticed a lot, V8 cars are not ruling the day here. You've got a lot of straight sixes in the mix.
Straight sixes here. The leaning tower of power right here. Yeah.
It's a buzzing half dozen.
Yep. Very unique sound to that motor. Pretty cool motor.
Oh, this motor's been in 3 cars. This is number 3.
I'm sorry. Let's find where was that Pontiac with the...
it was right on this row here. The one with the 68.
So we have a fishbowl pacer.
And again, interior-wise, Porsche does not rule on this sort of interior. I love those carbon plaids and early 911s, but you know, this one is pulling it off. This Dodge is pulling off.
Sorry.
So we have to say it was this way, but look at the beautiful view.
So part of what we do here at the Concours de Le Mans is we like bad examples of good cars and good examples of bad cars. We have an absolutely beautiful pacer here and a gorgeous AMC Concord. I mean, who does this? Who preserves a car like this?
Look at these gently done aerodynamic dimples, right?
Yeah.
The airflow just comes out.
You know, you're a designer at AMC and you hit a straight line, you go, oh, that's not done. Let's put a sway in there. That'll make it.
And then what do we have here?
We're not sure.
We're not sure.
We're hoping you knew.
Yeah,
No.
we have no idea what this is, and there's a twister sheet in there, which I really don't want to know anything about it.
It says mostly American-made bus company.
This Pontiac right here. One thing we said, we like really good examples of bad cars. Here's an actually fairly rare car. It is a Pontiac 6000 all-wheel drive, which they only made about 2,000 of, and I'm sure about one exists, and this is it. And it's in pristine condition, and you got to take a look at the steering wheel.
We have the owner, Scott, here as well. We're doing a little live.
Hey, Scott.
Talking about some of these cars. The only problem with this one, I wish it just had buttons on the
I have to
inside.
lock
That
it
would make
because
it
so many people are so envious of this car that it could possibly be stolen. So I have to take all precautions. 89.
So in 1989, you're a designer at GM, and you're looking for a place to put buttons.
Yep.
And the center of the steering wheel is the logical choice.
Yep. A lot of empty space.
So do you ever have to honk at someone and accidentally just crank up your volume or something? Change the radio?
Yeah, sometimes you do inadvertently punch the buttons.
Look at the wheels. This, I mean, that is the height of 80s style.
And
Three-piece
talk about
BBS? Oh, no.
And what makes this thing so crazy special? It's all-wheel drive, right? So this is a snowbank escape vehicle here in Michigan.
Yeah, they only made about 1,200 each year in 89 and 90. That was it. And it was really more of just like a proof of concept. This is actually the very first GM all-wheel drive sedan. So it's the very first example. So it's pretty neat.
Do you have any idea how many are left?
There's a few, actually, to be honest. There's some of the red, like the burgundy red ones, and then there's a couple blue ones. There's actually a blue one in a museum in Illinois. It's actually a Pontiac museum, and there is one there. But we've seen a couple, so there's probably, I'm sure less than 10, but somewhere between probably 5 and 10 that are still in one piece in good shape like this.
Does anybody ever stop you like this and truly offer their appreciation?
Absolutely, yeah. Because this is one of the cars that everybody was either around, or a friend had one, or their parents had one. I grew up in one of these. My dad had an LE, and so this is why I have such an attachment to it. But it's a very special car. But yeah, but they don't exist. I mean, all 6,000s virtually are gone. So, but everybody was around them at some point. So when they see one again, it's just it shocks everybody. This gets more attention than most cars. It's the only other car, and I have a DeLorean as well. That's the only car that gets more attention than this car. So,
You are a connoisseur.
I'm a connoisseur of pain. Yeah, anguish and mediocrity.
But hey, that's what this is all about, right?
You know, somewhere some kid just took that as his high school band name. Anguish and mediocrity. Well, 1 of 10. This is an exceptional thing to have here at the show. Makes the Ferrari Enzo look pretty common, I think. Right? Come on.
Speaking of rare Pontiacs, we have another one over here.
Another rare Pontiac. Let's go.
Four-door Pontiac Tempest with the inline 6 overhead cam GM engine. There it is. Which is a fairly rare engine. I think they only made it for a couple of years.
I could be wrong with that, but there it is, an inline 6 overhead cam GM.
Pontiac's answer to the E-Type, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, exactly.
And how did that go?
Yeah. Yep.
Could they join two of these at the crankshaft for a Pontiac V12? Maybe. Could it be done?
It could be done with enough Wisconsin Bourbon. I'm sure it could be done.
Well, and what I like also, and you see this a lot on a lot of these vehicles, they've gone high performance mode. They've got an extra couple of washers in to really get that cold air in for maximum power.
That's going to make all the difference.
I remember that. I used to borrow my grandmother's 1970 Buick Electra 4-door when I would come home from college. First thing I did is I'd flip that air cleaner over so I could hear that quadrajet breathe.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Well, here's another rare GM car. And, we're here in Detroit, so the GM cars are out in force. It is a T-top Cadillac Alante, which we've been told by the owner, the Alante Owners Club has threatened to excommunicate anybody that shows up at a Concours de Le Mans in their Alante. And this heretic has taken that chance and shown up with it. A very pretty, but yet spectacularly bad car. And made even worse with the addition of the T-tops.
They can see the front end.
Is it the addition of T-tops? Or is it the removal?
It's the removal. Well, it's the addition of the Harbor Freight hardware to latch it on.
Be careful, you don't want to cut yourself.
Well, and what we noted here is that straight lines are boring, right? It's best to put some curves in your Sawzall work.
Is that so you can really fit your helmet in? Kind of a gurney bubble thought process.
So does this have the digital dash? It has. These cars were actually fairly cool. The story behind them is the body was made in Italy, flown to Detroit and assembled, but they have a digital dash and a digital information center.
It's really awesome.
The information center does not work. Go figure, I know.
Disqualified.
Yeah. Our gas gauge is working again, that's good.
Or I would surprise. But actually, not really a bad car. I mean, they have a great story behind them. The motors that they put in them were terrible, but I think it's actually kind of good looking. I mean, it was designed by Pininfarina.
Yeah, you got the
The North Star V8 is a terrible engine.
Pininfarina badge.
So true story on this, the original motor, the GM41, the aluminum castings were so porous they would weep oil just out of the metal. And the recommended GM procedure to stop that was to gall the metal where it was weeping. So GM told you, take a hammer and hit the engine until it stops leaking oil. True story.
That's fantastic.
Yes. Yeah.
The gall.
The gall of that.
Kind of one of those examples of a really good version survivor of a bad car.
Bad car, right? Yeah. Well, speaking of procedures, let's go over here and look at this Pinto.
Pinto on the way. I know on Facebook we have a lot of Pinto fans.
This is probably one of the nicest Pintos you are ever going to see, and it is one of the rare V6 options that has the window sticker with it. The owners are fantastic. They've put a lot of time and effort into restoring this car. Why? I don't know, but we are glad they did, and it is absolutely...
Made their own money.
They made their own money to bribe with my face on it. And Duncan the Irish Wolfhound.
So I guess that money is only good to you.
It is only of any value to me.
I like they've gone to the expense of a Marty report. So they know exactly if it's a 7400 with this paint code. Usually you get these done so you can get down to the one-of-one nature of your Boss 429 and such.
Perhaps a nod request to get one for a Pinto? Not as often seen anyway.
Got it last night when they were like, well, there's certain protests around the country, like Fight for 15.
But it goes like this
These guys are
typically on
protesting
grass,
something else.
but because of all the rain that happened last night and this morning, it had to be moved to this hard surface.
Yes, we're currently at the, as the title of the video says, we're at the Concours Elegance of America here at the Inn at St. John's in Plymouth, Michigan. We're here with Brad Phillips.
Head gasket here.
Of course, the man who swings the final hammer.
I didn't notice the Duke Boy replica over there.
We have a Lotta that's done up as the General Lee. It's the Lotta Lee. Pretty bad, actually.
A Porsche there, you get a few.
Yes. I was just informed the Corvair Club has brought 13 cars to the festivities.
So I think we wanted to hit this little tyke that you were talking about earlier, and then the Corvairs.
Why wouldn't you do up your small car as a little tyke, and then source little tykes along the way as you're going on the rally? That's the only logical thing to do. And they dress in costume at every stop, and they're on a 1,000-mile rally with this car.
Where do they go next?
Lovely downtown Cleveland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cleveland rocks. Everybody knows it.
The
Now
garden spot of Ohio.
We know Wayne Carini is here. Did he bring a car to Lemons this year?
He did not bring one this year to this show. He is known for bringing one to our California show at Pebble Beach. He stops off at Doty's car lot and brings something spectacularly bad. But no, he's actually putting on a seminar today, so could not be here today. One of the Hagerty seminars, which I believe are available on streaming as well.
Yes, they are.
So yeah, you can check those out. There's actually a really interesting car over here. It is a Saturn minus all of the body panels. If you've ever wondered what one looks like without the body panels, and why would you? This is it.
Now, just to be clear, NASA didn't use this for any sort of space exploration, did they?
No, I think the owners, that's a little bit of wishful thinking.
Kind of a rally car, then split it up before anybody.
Right?
But Save Our Saturns is quite a movement. I know we wrote Hagerty Media had a story on a woman who is quite the Saturn collector. I'm blanking on the name of those sedans they had. Those little Ions. But it's a movement.
Always like the SC1s with that little tiny third door, to let people get in the back seat. Those were fun. They actually, I don't know if everybody saw it, they actually had a news article from some of the Lemons Rally folks last night. They staged a protest, I think.
There was the Detroit Bus Company gave a tour around Detroit of automotive historical spots, and one of the stops was at GM World Headquarters, where everyone got out and used their Save Our Saturn signs to stage a protest to lobby GM to bring back the Saturn. Local news stations were contacted to say there was going to be a protest at GM, and several of them showed up and covered it as were in a real protest. So if you look that up on the Detroit news stations, you're bound to find it. Pretty funny, actually. Yeah. Borat has nothing on us. This is spectacular. Green metal flake always looks good on them.
And they drove all the way from Hartford, Connecticut.
Yeah, I probably could fit it.
Now, this is one of the owners. Tell him it doesn't look. It looks pretty nice from the outside, but it's not as.
Yeah. Right. So what is the body kit? What's it called?
It's a mini mark all the way from Hartford, Connecticut. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with the geography, it's about 1,000 miles from here to Metro Detroit. From Metro Detroit to Hartford, Connecticut, and they drove this thing all the way there.
I'm sure.
Yeah. I finally see somebody else with the check yourself before you wreck yourself shirt. Yes, love it.
Had to go there and get one.
Nice. And Saab Motors. Tell us what's in this.
It's a Ford 1.5 liter V4.
That is, and how many horsepower?
They were rated at about 60, 65.
And when new, so now 40-ish.
But I built my own exhaust for it, so I'm going to have more.
Well, that goes a long way.
I might rate it up for the lost horses.
I'm sure you had more innovation and thought put into it than those, pesky engineers at Saab, right?
Well, they only use like 1.25 inch pipe. And I use 1.25 inch. So it's bigger.
So Ford V6. So not only did they lop, they actually lopped the rear cylinder.
They started with this engine and they added to it. How did they do that? Well, this is, it predates the they added to
1400 and you could have look at this one. How you doing, Julian?
So it's backwards.
Really?
So was the distributor
What's that?
was it always there?
Keep going, you can wrap up if you like.
The Fords have it.
They may have done that.
That's very cool.
And just for perspective, this is my hand. A little bigger than the cylinder. You guys want to sign off?
Yeah, I think
Alan's got to get going. He's got to make some decisions.
we have to tabulate the results, which are kept here on our cat in the hat clipboards. Nothing but the finest from the dollar store.
And did the whiskey help?
Definitely. Oh yeah, the whiskey definitely helps. Even Wisconsin Bourbon. I thought it was fantastic. Yeah, it's the best of Wisconsin. So yeah, we have to go tabulate the results and we got to do it. Yeah. So and give out the awards that we got at the dollar store last night. Look, the humidity and the heat just about 45 minutes. Just like that. That's got to. I'm thinking the wool coat is a fine fashion choice for today. A few more of these and who cares? But yeah, great day out here. It's actually kind of hard to judge these cars. I mean, they're all really kind of, and they're all really kind of awesome. They're all. And all the owners, you got to be a special kind of crazy, a special kind of car enthusiast to want to bring all of this here and have fun. So it's awesome. The key to all of this is you look around at the owners and the people walking around. Everyone has a smile on their face. No one is taking themselves too seriously. Everyone's having a good time. That's really cool. So thanks for watching. Cheers.